Alright, okay. Hey everybody, welcome to week 2. The first thing you're going to do, obviously, is watch this video. But after you've done that, let's see. The reading assignment for this week is the 7 Habits book. That's this guy right here. Just looking at habits 1, 2, and 3. The overview, you can read that if you want to. I don't necessarily have any quizzes out of that. The midterm doesn't really cover the overview, but it does help lay the groundwork for the rest of the habits, so you may consider reading that. Let's see, once you've done that and you've read, it's a good idea to it's a good idea to read before you go through and watch these videos, because I do kind of elaborate on the things that are in the book. I suppose you can watch the videos first and then kind of write down the things that seem interesting and then just kind of take some time reading those. I guess that's really up to you how you want to approach that. But anyways, there's these 4 videos to watch, one on perceptions, principles, paradigms, values, and then principle centers and mission statements. And then this is actually a continuation of video 2, where then we take the mission statement and start talking about quadrant. As far as time management goes, according to Covey, the author of this book. And the self-determination theory, that's actually a supplemental theory that I've added to kind of help understand how the ideas of Covey kind of fit into leadership, because for the most part it seems like the first 3 chapters of Covey are focused on the self, which they are, but they're also kind of focused on cultivating those skills in your place. So the AFS scale, this goes along with self-determination theory. I open it up in the video. There's no assignment to go with it, but it is a good idea to review it while watching this video, and I kind of point out when you can open it and stuff. I walk you through it in the video. So once you've done that, you've watched the videos, read the assignments. Now it's time to come down to the assignment. Read the book. Now it's time to come down to the assignment. The first one I would suggest doing is the personal effectiveness quotient. That kind of measures your effectiveness in the 7 habits that are in the Covey book. And so if you click on that, I'm going to walk you through how to do this because it can get sketchy. You'll need to click on this first and then write down this registration code. Okay, so I'm going to copy it and then you continue to PEQ. And if you need to, go ahead and pause the video to get that far. You'll need to create an account. I've already got one, but you click here to create the account. You go through all of these. Job title, it's not really too important, but anyways, click on, get that all registered, and then you log in. Once you get logged in, you probably won't have anything here until you come down here and paste in your registration code. Then you hit register, and then you'll get this 7 Habits Book 4.0, and then you click on Access Workshop. From there, you go to take the self-survey, and then it'll give you your benchmark report. So I want you to take this report, download it, and there it is. It puts it in a PDF. So then come back here, and I mean, obviously I'm not a student, I can't submit it, but submit that, but then also along with that report, that benchmark report, in 150 words, I want you to discuss the habits and areas in which you're lacking effectiveness, and then explain one of the strategies that Covey talks about in his book, and talk about how you can address that deficiency, if you would. So, for instance, if you find that you're lacking in habit 1 of being proactive, then you could focus on proactivity versus reactivity, and explain all the concepts. Maybe if you start looking at how Covey talks about time management and thinking about how an event happens and then planning on how you're going to proactively plan on how you're going to act the next time that situation approaches. So it's kind of being proactive with it rather than reactive in the heat of the situation. Anyways, be sure to give personal examples in those 150 words, because I want to know exactly how these things apply to you. I'm not so worried about theoretically, how would it apply? I'm worried about, how do these things actually manifest? How do they appear in your life? What do they look like? So give me some personal examples that will help me kind of understand that. Once you get done with the the PEQ, the personal effectiveness quotient, where'd you go? Come down to develop your own mission statement. This is another chapter. I think it's chapter 3 in the Covey book. Well, habit 3. So click on here. Close this. And under the plus personal, it'll bring up that tab, and you click to begin. going to ask you to log in. Make sure you give your email, because I think it'll let you come back to it if you do. Let's see. Oops. Not too sure. Okay, so this is actually where I left it this morning, so I don't know if it lets you come back to it or not. So try and get it all done in one go, because I know my wife was working on it and messing around with it, and actually timed out on her, and she lost her progress. So don't do that. Make sure you get it done in one swoop. It's not really long. Just make sure you answer these. I suggest answering these in complete sentences, because it just kind of makes the end product kind of flow a little better. And it's going to create you a mission statement. I want you to paste that mission statement in here, and then once you've done that, talk about how you can change your schedule to be more intentional about your time in order to achieve the goals that you've outlined now in the mission statement. Because the idea of the mission statement is to help you focus on an area in your life that you want to be better in. And so now that you have the mission statement, how are you going to adjust your time, your schedule, and your time allotments and your priorities to achieve those goals? So be sure to give me examples, personal examples in that one as well. Last but not least, there's the self-reflection research paper. So this is just, it's called a research paper, but I don't want to freak you guys out because there's two parts. The research paper itself is one page. And so if you use MLA formatting, which you should, it does call for MLA guidelines, you're really only at like a 3/4 page. So to meet the minimum, it's only like 2 paragraphs. So it's not really that big a deal. But I do want you to use an outside source. Well, let me back up a second. So what are you actually doing here? I want you to write an essay, write a one-page essay, where you focus on one theory that we've talked about either last week or this week. So any of the theories I did in my intro video last week, or any of the theories that we talked about this week, self-determination theory included. If you want to pick one of those, one that you think applies to your life, or that you've seen kind of at work in your life, or in an organization, or in any kind of relationship, anything at all, just some way that you've seen it in the real world. Then I want you to write your essay and basically explain that to me. Explain how that, first of all, explain the theory to me. And that's kind of where you're going to get that outside source. Find an outside source that explains that theory a little bit, and use that to explain the theory to me. But then also tell me where you've seen that theory kind of at play. Is it in your life, or is it in someone else's life, or in an organization, and in a leadership role somewhere, whatever it is. As far as the research part of this goes, make sure that it is a research paper, even though it's just one page. Make sure you don't use any personal pronouns like I, me, my, or you. That's always the case with the research papers. As far as academic research papers go, you don't use those words. Instead, you use words like one might think, or he or she, or this author's, you could say this author's opinion. It's kind of weird to say, because you would more so just kind of say it as a claim, just kind of, instead of saying this author believes that self-determination theory was at play, you would just say self-determination theory was at play. But anyways, that's kind of a rhetorical analysis perspective. Anyways, make sure you get at least one outside source other than the textbook. Make sure you use MLA with the works cited page for the one source you do use. And then be sure to have a thesis in your first paragraph. And so if you have any questions about writing, again, I do teach writing, so if you have questions about that, let me know, because I can help you in that area as well. The second half of this paper, there's the one-page essay, but then also I need you to post a video where you kind of explain this essay to me, mainly because it's an online class, and Lindenwood wants you guys to post videos to make sure that it isn't actually you taking the class and not like your neighbor or your friend or whatever. So what I want you to do also, so submit the paper here, but then also include either a link to a video or the video itself, where you take some time to explain your paper to me. In the video, you can use I, me, and my, but you can't do that in the paper. That's strictly a research paper thing. No I, me's, and my's in the paper, but in the video you can say I, me, and my. So whenever you're explaining it in the video, it'd be a lot easier than when you explain it in the paper, most likely. So anyways, your job in the video is to explain the theory and then also explain where you've seen it. Basically, just give me a video version of your paper. Anyways, that's really the only thing that I'm seeing that I see is due this week. Now I remember. So again, just kind of review. You have to come in, start off by reading, of course watching this video, and then doing the reading, and then watching the lecture videos, checking out the AFS scale, going down to complete these 3 assignments. One of the assignments, the reflection paper, is the essay with the video. Anyways, that's all it's due this week, and of course if you have any questions, feel free to contact me via text, email, or just simply call me. And if nothing else, then I will see you guys in week 3.